Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Navtastic, podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandes and...
Ooga bonk, daba duba, ooga mooga. Hi, I'm Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
Wonga Wonga. We're about to review... We're about to review Studio City, which is the third episode from the 6th season of Laverne Shirley. Directed by John Tracy, written by Richard Rosenstock. And Chris probably has some facts about them, I think. Perhaps.
I do, yes. Rosenstock, I've got some good notes, and I finally got some more notes for Mr. Tracy.
Yeah. And here is what the episode is about. The girls go from day passes to a studio tour courtesy of Sonny, who's doing stunts for a film. They're hoping to stalk down Troy Donahue, and by pure happenstance, women are being auditioned to play cavewomen for a picture in which they're starring while they're visiting Sonny there. The girls find themselves selected to play two cavewomen, the love objects of Zontar, king of the pterodactyls, sent to be saved by a caveman played by Troy himself. They even have the opportunity to do some very thrilling stunts. But as the day wears on and their experience gets more and more embarrassing and painful, they might be going through the whole process for naught. Will they be able to stand up to the heat of the spotlight? Meanwhile, Rhonda rehearses for her A Streetcar Named Desire audition, and the boys announce their new venture, Scrignowski Talent Agency of Burbank, or STAB, which already has its first client, flamingo dancer Mel Sid. What do you think of this episode?
Well, this Zwick character is really not going anywhere as a first AC, I can tell you that for free, given that his slate work was absolutely below average. That being said, he was a nice character. He was good. He treated the talent with a decent amount of respect. But yeah, no. So when it comes to this episode, this was very much like I think you mentioned it earlier. You Ought to Be in Pictures, and there's echoes of that here. But whereas You Ought to Be in Pictures was very much about the guys, kind of the director behind the camera talent sort of getting one over the girls. Here it's a kid who's just trying to make a cheap little dinosaur flick and getting screwed by the fact that he and the crew don't know what they're doing. And that I thought was much funnier and much cuter about the idea that they come to Hollywood and it's not the girls get thrown into this situation, but it's not necessarily their fault that everything's going wrong. So that was, I think, one of my big immediate takeaways from the start. It was very cute.
I really noticed that this was the first episode of the season that you really, really enjoyed. You really had fun with this one?
Well, it's about filmmaking.
Well, yeah. That too, but also you seem to really enjoy the premise and be invested in the girls' predicaments.
Yeah, I guess it felt like it was getting back on track a little bit, and it didn't have the baggage of we're having to readjust everything.
Yeah, exactly. For me, this is probably around about mid-leveler for me. It's good. It's got some really funny points. We get to see the establishment of Scrignowski Talent Agency of Burbank, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. The stunt work is a lot of fun. It's really cute. Troy Donahue is in no way the age they insist he is.
No, because we'll get to him in a bit. But I love that he's kind of like he sort of puts on this sort of the big guy on campus shtick, which is clearly him acting. Because it's almost like the way actors play actors in movies. Like they're kind of caricatures based on people they know. And it feels like this is him doing a caricature of people he worked with.
Yes. He looks like a middle-aged dude is the problem.
That's the one catch.
He's supposed to be in his 20s.
Yep.
He looks like a middle-aged dude. Fabian looks more like he was supposed to in the 50s than, even though he has a very 70s outfit and very 70s haircut going on, way back in season 3 than what we get here. And it's like, he does not look like, he does not come out ringing a bell and looking like he should, so to speak.
And I think,
to quote a famous song.
the thing with Troy is that, I mean, I don't want to jump too far ahead because we'll talk about him with the guest star stuff, because there's stuff for him and there's stuff for the guy who plays Director Zwick, which Zwick, the reference to Joel Zwick was adorable. I also think they mentioned a Lowell was Lowell was the one operating the Zontar's claws, which then means it's Lowell. It's referencing Lowell Gans, which I think is very cute as well.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, I think because of the fact it definitely the characterizations are just finally starting to kind of rebalance themselves a bit, was where I started to sort of feel. I think it was, we were talking about this the last episode. The last episode not having a plot, was something that kind of hindered the episode. And here it's like the balance of plot and character is finally coming more into shine.
Yes.
Shirley has some wonderful aspects of her personality that get to come out here, because I love how Shirley just takes this so seriously. And I love when she's competent. Like, I love how she's correcting him about the takes, the name of the movie, where it's like, clearly, like, this guy got this job for nepotism, but she is like, no, we're going to do the job. We're going to do this right. Because if I don't get to see Troy Donahue. So she's very driven.
Yeah, exactly. She will do anything, absolutely anything to make it.
Mm-hmm. And it comes off also as like echoes of Cindy as well, which I'm just imagining her on things like The Killing Kind and Gas, and wondering, oh, how often did that come up for her?
Yeah, I know. Shirley is a little less done with the nonsense there, which makes sense because she's the true believer in all these celebrity-related episodes. Laverne gets to be the true believer eventually in a season 7 episode that is not the show's best outing, unfortunately. But yeah. But it's very typical her to try to keep on this stuff. She's gonna get that autograph come hell or high water. She's gonna convince that man to pay attention to her come hell or high water.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first episode of the show's new opening credits.
Yeah, that's a lot to get into. I'm almost a little kind of overwhelmed at how many new inserts we have to discuss. We have B-roll, we have stock footage of the waves. We've got the Hollywood Boulevard, the Hollywood sign. We've got the boys perving on Rhonda, but we also have the cutest, the girls on roller skates. That is so cute.
Yes, it's great. You'll notice that over the next few episodes, the insert shots change a lot. There's at least one shot of Rhonda kissing the girls goodbye that disappears. Them laughing with the Cowboy Bills thing disappears. You guys replace different insert shots. There was a lot of on-the-fly movement going on here. Where scenes would get, in the opening credits, would get replaced and moved and changed around. I think everything gets locked by about episode 5. And then those are the same opening credits you get for season 6 and season 7, and then obviously midstream in season 8, we have to make a big change.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, we'll get there. A little bit, but we'll get there.
Yes, I do.
Well, so we get a lot of both. My favorite CS shot is actually not in the opening credits; it's in the end credits, where for some reason. You have the front staircase of Laura Vista, which, by the way, was a real apartment building. That is a real apartment building that actually is in California, which you can go visit the exterior of.
Yep, still there. I mean, we have looked it up on the Google Maps.
Yes, we have. But it's a shot of Squiggy and Shirley and Sonny and Laverne and Lenny all sitting on the front steps of the Laura Vista building, and it's nice. And everybody is, for some reason, looking at Lenny like he said the most ridiculous thing in the world, and Lenny is looking off camera with a mischievous grin on his face, which makes me wonder if that was just Michael being Michael. And everybody looking at him like, why are you saying this? And him just enjoying it. And looking at the director like, did you get that?
Awesome. That is cute.
I don't know what was happening in that shot, but I love it. I love that.
Well, we also need to point out this intro is what gives us the New Year's Eve shot.
Yes, indeed.
New Year's Eve, 1965. So
yeah, we are firmly in 1965 at this point. I have no idea what the month is. I have no idea where in the year we are, but we're somewhere in 1965.
Yeah, and as we have discussed in the last couple episodes, I no longer care. You can.
Yes, I know, but I care a little, even though we have people sitting in the crowd wearing disco collars.
Ugh, God.
Why?
Well, not to mention also stunt women on the set is an interesting thing. So I recommend anybody. I brought this up a bunch on the In the Army Now two-parter in season 5 to definitely look up the history of stunt women in Hollywood, because
Yes.
it's a storied history, and it's it's kind of complicated, because sometimes also what it is a case of women that still did do the stunts at times, but were not credited and sometimes not even paid. Is kind of one of the myths that I've heard, and I don't know to what extent some of this can be proven, but there were women that wanted to do this as a living, they enjoyed it, and they were not really allowed to. So in 1965, that was kind of rare. And I think so. I think what's kind of cool about it is they're doing it anyway, because even if it's inaccurate, it is still it's going to move this particular plot forward and give them wonderful, physical comedy hijinks to go through. But it also gives them a sense that it also gives the world a sense of like women are moving forward, because that's, part of the whole story is women doing, it's very much about women empowerment, feminism, and all that kind of stuff as one of the core ethos of the show. Part of its, I guess, its mission statement, and it felt like it was moving in that direction. So that was cool. But just one of those things to be aware of when we talk about anachronisms is, there's a couple things like that. And I mean, as I said, this is not a realistic film experience as well. I mean, the way that they're getting the coverage and they're just doing one take, he's slating it wrong. He doesn't call it out correctly. Because what you do is you call if you need to call the movie name, which you often do if it's sound sync, you're not doing 100% ADR on this work. I don't see a boom mic in sight, so there's probably no audio. It's probably MOS, which, by the way, if it's MOS, you don't collapse the slate because there's no reason to. What you do is you put your fingers in between as a gap, so that the first frame of the film, when it rolls and you see that, the editor knows, okay, there's no sound for me to look forward and sync to. So anyway, my point being, there's tons of things like that, but it's that's a weird reason why I also love this episode, is that there are those things that I can point out, even if they frustrate me. It's like, well, that's wrong, you know?
Man. Yeah. Honestly, for me, it's fun because the director is trying, in this case, he's trying so hard to please his dad.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
He's trying so hard to please his dad.
Mm-hmm. I wish this character showed up again. I really do. I like the idea of them anytime they're on a movie set, he's there, but he starts as the director and keeps getting lower and lower jobs until he's just he's working the craft table at some other set they're on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can picture that. I can actually picture that really. Oh man. Picture that. For all the work he's doing to try to make this picture move, he's also hiring completely inexperienced people to know and die for him.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and Troy's double. Come on. There's no angle you're filming that guy from that he's gonna look the same.
Gonna look like him.
That's like trying to get what's his name, Richard Deason. Eddie
Deason.
Eddie Deason. Thank you. It's like trying to get Eddie Deason to double for Sammo Hung. What the hell are you doing?
Different people entirely. Oh yeah.
Oh
man. It looks terrible. It would look terrible from any angle. Just shows his inexperience, I guess. But that's fun.
That's fun. And like I said, that's part of what helps to sell the idea of him being this incompetent director, which then means the whole production's incompetent. If it's so cheap, the director has to do the slate, and they don't have a dedicated first assistant camera to do that. Yeah, or a director's or assistant director doing it. It's a cheap ass production. It's a piece of crap. This is. I'm sorry, but that's the truth though. It's if you're doing professional level grade on a soundstage, then you hire enough people. But anyway, so
I get you.
But yeah, this overall though, it's super cute. I mentioned before that also just the energy has been really out the gate has been so much more energetic. And even outside of the studio scenes, you see that in the whole the nerdy look, the nerdy librarian look for Laverne. You see that with their interactions with Rhonda. It's fierce, and I really like it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't love it.
Me too.
I don't love it.
I know you don't.
But
I know you love it, but
I guess what I mean is because you were saying you would put this as almost like a mid-tier episode, and I kind of feel the same. I don't think this is going to be in my top 5 or anything, but it's a it has a charm that I enjoy that I felt was missing in the first 2 episodes of the season.
Yeah. This episode is fun.
Yeah.
The episode is fun, and the show has fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fresh for the season, because it feels a lot less like we need to establish this, we need to establish everything. They only established one new thing here, and that's Squignowski.
Right.
Squignowski. I could pronounce it correctly. I loved it. I love it, that name.
Yeah,
I could pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, Squignowski, Talent Agency, Burbank. Stab. Goodness.
So notice Laverne's finally made it to Fredericks to Hollywood.
She did, and she purchased something very smutty, apparently.
Yep, very smutty that we don't get to see. We do get to see things in a couple episodes, though, so...
Oh.
So it's only a fantasy sequence.
Okay.
Yes.
Eye emoji.
Yes, emoji. It starts out with a war and ends up with peace. That's a great line.
That line, it's a great line. And I love they end up knocking into each other at the knees, which is an interesting euphemism.
Yeah. Naughty.
Mm-hmm.
The girls have learned from their last experience. They're bringing smelling salts with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And enter Rhonda, who thinks Laverne would make a much better Stanley. She's so mean.
Well, what it is she first wants Shirley to be Stanley to bounce lines off of, and then when Laverne, gives that burn,
Yeah. She stops being with Stella.
I have something terribly important. Oh, you discovered the original color of your hair. Oy vey. And
they just spent a lot of time insulting each other for the majority of season 6 until things shift up a little bit.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of curious when that's going to happen, because as of now, Rhonda's practically like a less physically violent version of Rosie Greenbaum at this point.
Yep. Yeah, in a lot of ways. She adds an antagonism the show hasn't had since Rosie left.
Right. Which is kind of it's cool. It's cool to see. I do wish it wasn't at this new character's expense so far, and I also it also just makes me miss Rosie, because Rosie, my God, would have made season 4 so much better. Yeah,
she would have made season 4 better. She would have improved the incredible guilt loveliness of season 5, and she would have even made a move interesting. So, well,
I mean, oh my God. That would be interesting if, like, when they leave and they have all their goodbyes, that Rosie is the one that ends up missing them the most, and she gives Laverne this like big sobbing hug, and it's like, what do you mean? It's like, what do you mean? I thought you hated me, and it's like, Laverne, don't you know anything?
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. We do get to see Rosie this season.
Wait, what?
No, next season. I think we do get to see. I'm actually going to check on that, because I can't remember if it's this season or next season, but I know we see her.
I think it's wasn't it whatever happened to? Yeah, I think it's next season. It's the whatever happened to Sal. It might be this season.
No, no, we got Sal's next season too.
Oh, jeez.
I think.
Wow.
We see Sal, and we get to see Rosie, and we get to see Terry again.
Yay.
In season 7. So enter the boys.
Yep. They've been doing a lot of thinking.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of thinking. They've created their talent agency. And Lenny is wearing the blandest suit I've ever seen in my life.
It's pretty bland. Yes.
Michael looks great in it, but I can't imagine that actually being in Lenny's wardrobe. So it's just like weird to see him dressed up as an agent, so to speak.
Yeah.
In that respect.
I feel like if he's going to be dressed like an agent, he's going to be one of those super disheveled ones where like parts of the suit, like he got the suit piecemeal where like different parts don't fit him.
Yeah. There is once again this sense that suddenly they have money.
Right.
Everybody has money.
Yeah.
Money that they never had before.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess what did they figure? The recession was in full swing and Reagan was about to be elected. Oh, God, that's right. Reagan was about to be fucking elected at that point. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No, Reagan was already elected. I think we're in 1981.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're right.
I think so.
I'm gonna look.
But that's in real life. That's in real life versus on the show. On the show, it makes no sense that he owns the suit. But Squiggy looks like Squiggy.
No, he'd already been elected. This episode aired December 2nd, 1980. Yep.
I knew. I had a feeling, and I knew that much. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Uh, Mel Sid. What do we think of Mel Sid? We never get to see Mel Sid again, but what do we think of Mel Sid?
Cute, but I would like to have seen more of it rather than it just be a throwaway gag as they leave. It just was like,
Yeah.
and?
Yeah. Well, we need to establish the boys are talent agents now. Thus, we have that.
Yeah. I feel like this could have waited till a different episode.
I think it would have worked better in grand opening.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it's quite possibly. Well, not to mention that also would have explained their attire in that episode, which we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will eventually. We will get there soon.
They did a nice clean up job after When Worlds Collide, I guess.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, we get some really nice angles.
Yes, this had a lot of coverage, and I was shocked.
Yeah, they must have taken it over to an empty soundstage somewhere else in the lots because you get some interesting coverage, interesting angles, interesting, very unique and very directory shots. So to speak. A famous fungus.
Yeah, the famous fungus, indeed. It looks like, I love that it looks like insulation foam, which is, I've used that before to try to build sets and failed miserably at it.
There's a lot of, there's a big hint here. We're starting to get some big hints that Laverne's attraction to Sonny is requited.
Yes.
Some flirtation here.
That was super cute. It's like, I got to get into my costume, and she says, you want some help? And he goes, what was it that I know I'm old enough to dress myself, Laverne, and he kind of pats her butt, which is very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. The set is great. I also love Sonny swinging into the set on the rope, and they're like, don't you ever just walk into a room? And he goes, yeah, I do it all the time, but it's boring. You left, right?
Yeah, left, right, dull.
And then enter Doug Cox as Director Zwick.
Yes, Director Zwick, who is going to try to get this production on the road, damn it, even though it's not really working out for him at all.
Nope. I also find it funny they mention the Army episodes when they're talking about being stunt women, because basically, he comes in and says, all the women for the stunt players, and I like he almost looks their way like he knows they're just part of a tour and just hanging out and they're not there, but he's sort of like, I like their look. Let's get them in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Which feels very much like every other Hollywood Discovery story. It kind of works.
Exactly.
It really does.
But I found it funny that for them to mention the Army episodes, because that actually had a bunch of real famous stunt women at the time.
Yeah.
That was
we addressed that in those episodes. It's very good. It came out very well.
Mm-hmm. So I find it interesting they're making a dinosaur movie in 1965, and admittedly, dinosaur movies at that point were pretty much just cheap trash at this point. I think we're because I think we're like 3 years out from Wonga, I think, and then about another year past that for The Land That Time Forgot, another version of The Lost World, When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth, etc., or 1 Million Years BC, which those are fun movies. It's just it's the weird anachronism, but it definitely makes me wonder, how cheap of a production is this really?
Pretty cheap. It's not Ed Wood cheap, but it's not Ed Wood cheap, but it's cheap enough.
It's cheap enough, and it doesn't have the training of someone like Corman to make it entertaining.
Yeah. Exactly.
It'd be almost like the Creeping Terror levels of cheese.
Yeah. Not quite Killer Shrew. We just dressed these dogs up in costumes.
And the thing is, at least Killer Shrews has a good cinematographer. It's got really good lighting. It's a cheesy movie, but that actually inspired parts of the zombie script that Vanessa and I wrote. So
that's nice. That's nice.
But them making the dinosaur movie, they have those wonderful outfits, and my mother just was completely over the moon. They look so cute. They look so adorable. I just thought the hair was hilariously on point for that type of movie.
Oh yeah. I'm in a movie with Troy Donahue, and my leading man is a dinosaur. Great line.
Oh God, I love that. And
I love that they brought up... Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead first.
Huh?
No.
I love that they brought up girdle sales at Meckler's.
Yes.
Brought back Meckler's.
Bring back the Mecklers. We demand our Meckler quota of being hit in this season, that we have enough references to Mecklers. That Mecklers is still a well-known institution. I do not know why I went to a Sam the Eagle voice there, but that is a thing I did. But yeah, and then the whole like the direction, the Wonga Wonga, you Wonga
Yes.
your way, I'll Wonga my way. I also love Laverne calling A Zwick, which makes me wonder how often Penny actually did say
Yeah.
that.
I can actually hear her saying that in that voice.
Uh,
I love the claws, the big giant claws.
oh God. Oh, the
That's
big
so
dactyl,
fun.
the big dactyl feet. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
very like deadly claw, you know, or the giant
Yeah.
claw. Yeah.
Yeah. Giant claw.
Yeah.
Giant claw. Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
which for anyone who hasn't seen it, that's the one where the monster looks like. Actually, Lisa, honey, how would you describe the giant claw?
Oh gosh, a turkey on acid. An eyeball on acid. Am I close? Do you think?
Yeah, I think a turkey on acid that tried to imagine that was tripping that it was a vulture.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so.
I mean, basically, it looks like Gonzo. Let's be real
Yes.
here.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyway, but it's yeah. We get into the actual filming of the movie, and so this is where for me some of the parts kind of fall apart. The physical comedy, like the takes drag on a little long. I feel like I don't know if it's
Yeah. This feels like padding a little bit, maybe.
a little bit, yeah. Like I like the concept of the gags. It just feels like this is a sequence that just takes too long, which I'm wondering if that is going to become Tracy's trademark and issue that I have with him as a director of the physical stuff.
Awesome.
That it's competent, but that the scope is not matched by the detail. So,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but also before I forget, on the slate it mentions a B. Norton as the cinematographer, as the DP.
Oh.
That probably is a reference to William Norton, who was the cinematographer for pretty much all of Laverne and Shirley, or most of it anyway.
Yes. 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 I remember his name. That's cool. That's very cool. What a great little nod.
And then also the Village Virgins.
Yes,
We're
the
coming-
Village Virgins. We'll tell them they're a little late.
Yeah, so
Well-
that's more confirmation.
Yeah, yeah, that's further confirmation that Laverne is no longer a virgin, and has not been one, at least since sometime in season 5. Even though we spoke to Cindy Beagle on Twitter, she is a mutual of ours, and apparently when she wrote that line, she didn't think of it. That is a confirmation of Laverne's loss of virginity. When she put it down, which is interesting. Which makes me wonder about them doubling it down on it here.
And
They're
also,
almost doubling down on it in Shirley's name.
yeah, oh totally. Which yeah,
Virgins plural, a little late.
mm-hmm.
We get a strong hint that Carmine and Shirley are cruising the side streets of Smut City, to quote a later episode in the next episode. That they're getting a little bit closer. So I'm guessing that they have not hit home plate, but are at least somewhere around third base by now.
Yeah, somewhere in the third base. There's let's just say they've needed napkins or a towel.
Yeah. Or Shirley needs grape juice. Anyway, you don't know about that, do you? Allegedly, grape juice is the only thing that kills the taste of semen.
Oh wow. Okay.
Allegedly.
TIL.
Yeah. Oh God.
Anyway, take 37. It's not even accurate. They clearly did tons of other shots. But yeah, it's an enjoyable bit of Hollywood insanity, you know. I mean, poor little Shirley gets chopped, dropped, and pureed, you know, by a chicken with a thyroid condition, no less.
I really like the quick cuts here in the montage. I thought they were really cool. Desperate attempts at them trying not to get caught to death by the foam rubber rocks. Sorry, Dad. I love that line.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, that's his little waves and everything. Yeah, Doug is so good as Zwick.
So
we'll get to the talent in a second, but yeah, I also do love that when it gets to the last bit, the last take that they do together with on set, he's given up and he's just asking Shirley what take it is.
Yeah, because they just can't nail the shot.
And
what they do, they just can't nail
when
the shot.
I'm doing directing and cinematography, that actually does happen from time to time. I've had to like look at an actor or someone else or some crew member. I was looking at the sound guy and it's like, take. It's happened. But yeah, so they finally make it up to the nest, and then they end up finding that Sonny is playing Zontar's baby.
Yes.
I mean, that outfit.
Yes.
This film would be absolute MST3K fodder. And when we get the Pelgar double, I mean, just good Lord. Oh, man. And I love that they like kick him out of the nest, and it's like, that's Pelgar, and then they get all upset, and then they gotta do the thing, and he just grabs them and chucks them out of the nest, and I love just how Zwickis is done. And when you've had a really bad day of a shoot, that's a wrap. It's a work of art. And when he says that's a wrap, that's interesting because that also, I mean, obviously it's hinting at the end where there's the cast party at in the tag scene. When you say that's a wrap, that means that is a wrap on the production. You don't say that's a wrap. You say you're done for the day. The wrap is for production. Yeah. So that was interesting.
Yeah. That is rather a mistake there that I'm surprised they didn't catch.
That is, unless the idea is he is actually wrapping the shoot. This is their last day of shoot.
Might be.
And they're trying to get in. Maybe the distributor asked for more dinosaur stuff, and so they were getting this as a pickup or something. It happens.
Yeah, possible. It's quite possible.
Yeah.
Quite possible at this point. In any event,
yes.
The second they hear the words "get Troy in his loincloth," they're back to Wonga Wongaing.
Yeah, they Wonga Wonga like a pair of horny cave girls, which is very cute.
Yes. I understand the Wonga Wongaing. I have experienced that feeling.
I have noticed.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you've seen me you've done it too. You've seen me do it too.
Yes, true. So,
yeah. But my mom pointed out, by the way, how Sonny drags Troy out onto the set for his big reveal and his cameo at the end, which means that Sonny knew that they were upset and made sure to get Troy to come say hi, which is very sweet.
Yeah. I thought that was real sweet. I thought everything that happened there is nice. And, oh God, when they think that Troy's stuntman is Troy, no due respect, Mr. Donahue, you let yourself go.
Which is interesting phrasing for that. We'll get to. We should probably get to the cast stuff in a second, but we're almost at the end of my notes, so I mean, we'll just go back.
My next reference is enter a slightly blowsy 40-ish Troy Donahue.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh hun.
That's honest.
True. I get it. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, that dude had a life. There was a lot of drugs and alcohol in the 70s for that guy.
He went through a lot.
Yep. But yeah, it's a but they but you know, it's really cute though to see him here. He gives him the big kiss. He's totally I like that he's sort of like, I know I have that effect on people, you know. It's just kind of what happens, but I think you did really good out there, and I'm looking forward to working with you again someday. And I love the falls when he gives them the kiss and lets go, and they just flop and like Cheryl's just like laying down on the ground, is like, oh, it's so cute. And then and so that ends the whole thing of them figuring out that they need to get a picture of him. Which then goes to the tag and the scrapbooking, singing, the autograph, and all that, and yada yada.
Yeah, which is really sweet and really adorable. The girls do suffer, but they do get what they wanted.
Yep.
And they have their autographs and their pictures, and they're home glorying in their victory, and then Rhonda comes in, dressed to the nines.
Yep, for the cast party, for the movie. I received my invitation a week ago, and they wanted to answer the little phone. I love the rage being so open at Rhonda that it's
yeah.
It's kind of a relief given how much shit they used to take from all these other characters through the show. It's like seeing them because Rhonda is being terrible to them when Rhonda's at their level and is acting like she's hotter than that. And they're like, nuh-uh, don't you do that.
Yeah. Yep. I want to know what Rhonda was in that movie. I'm guessing she's just another cave girl extra.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious she doesn't have the lead.
See, I'm figuring she is the gal that has to get rescued by so okay, here's my thinking. The Zontar thing is Act 1. Rhonda's the one who gets saved from the T-Rex in either Act 2 or Act 3. And she comes from the rival tribe that then leads into like a Romeo and Juliet story that then leads to the Teenage Caveman style reveal at the end that this is all set in the far future.
Yours world, yours world.
Oh gosh, But yeah, then the parties will move to the Brown Derby, and
Yeah. The girls get dressed, and take Wanda's spot, which they should.
how satisfying is it that it's Shirley that's the one that's like, oh hell yeah, we're going for that.
Yeah, it is very satisfying. It's very enjoyable. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
Love her gutsiness. Love her bravery.
But yeah, Shirley has been fantastic this season so far, and we'll get to see even more examples of that in the next episode. And I just love her standing up for herself a little bit.
Yeah.
Given all that's, because Shirley is the one Laverne is the one I want to hang out with. Shirley is the one I want to just give a hug because she deserves better.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But anyway, so we have notes for today for behind the camera and in front of the camera. So, my darling, which would you like first?
From behind the camera first.
Okay, so this episode was Richard Rosenstock. He was formerly of Murder on the Moose Jaw Express Part 1.
Ooh.
He was also responsible for Fonzie's blindness, the bad, terrible man. He was already working on the Bad News Bears around this time, so this is his last writer credit for the show, unfortunately. He jumped off onto Mork and Mindy, bounced around different shows until creating the one-season wonders The Marshall Chronicles and Flying Blind, and writing for them for quite a bit. In the 2000s, he would get back to sitcoms with King of Queens, Will and Grace, The Big Bang Theory, and quite a bit of Arrested Development, as both a writer and consulting producer. He also did a stint on Family Guy during the 07-08 years, so way to go, Dick.
Hey, not bad.
But yeah, so that's a Rosenstock writer credit. And for John Tracy, huzzah, he returns once more. This is the third of 5 episodes for the season, so there's only 2 more to go. So shortly after this time on season 6 of Laverne Shirley, John Tracy would stick around with the Gary Marshall folks with Bosom Buddies, Joni Loves Chachi, I'm So Sorry, and even an episode of Who's the Boss? Oh boy.
Who's the Boss? Not bad.
But this dude had an incredibly prolific career in sitcoms, directing, often getting many episodes when he'd be on a series. So like he wouldn't often stick around for very long, but he would do like 4 or 5 episodes like average. Then head on to the next gig, which is kind of fascinating.
That's neat. That's really neat.
Yeah. So, okay, actor notes. So I've talked about him, the character a bunch. Doug Cox as Zwick. So this guy was a comedy writer and player of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He was a member of the Groundlings, an improv sketch comedy group, for those that don't know. As both a writer and actor. He would then actually, after this, go on to work on Pee-wee's Playhouse as a writer and do apparently a bunch of uncredited writing for Elvira, Mistress of the Dark on her show.
Oh.
And he would eventually get like little acting spots on TV through the 90s, from Doogie Howser to Dream On, again, Pirates of Silicon Valley, things like that. He was most recently on Grace and Frankie, I Think You Should Leave, and Grand Crew. So still active, still working.
Wow. Definitely. That's cool. That's very cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. So Troy Donahue, I'm glad we had a bit of a break. We were supposed to do these episodes recordings a week ago, and I'm glad we actually held off for a bit because this allowed me to do some little more further research. This dude was meant to be an actor, wanted to be an actor with a capital A. He was like born to act. He was always trying to find his way in. And what's kind of sad is like he probably was just born a bit too early for the kind of performances he really wanted to do. Because by this time in the late 70s, he was 2 years before finally going to Alcoholics Anonymous to fight against his addictions. He had issues with cocaine and other problems. And I wonder if it's part of his performance himself here is like a mix of parody and honesty about where he's at and a bit of a parody of like what people kind of thought of him at the time. But yeah, so here in this episode, it's less him as the squeaky clean early mid 60s, 1960s Troy Donahue, and kind of more the version of him that was in Cockfighter and My Blood Runs Cold. Because unfortunately, My Blood Runs Cold was apparently was a really intense villainous performance that he played a psychopathic killer. It was a William Conrad B movie, and he was very happy to do something against type, and it didn't do well, and so he ended up kind of getting blacklisted or blackballed during the late 60s and having a lot of issues with Warner Brothers and trying to get his contract cut and things like that so he can move on. But yeah, I mean, he's in Cockfighter, which is the Monty Hellman character study movie with Worn Outs, which is I've only seen parts of it, but man, that movie is a freaking that's the Citizen Kane of redneck films. And him being in it is pretty amazing. And I believe, based on the name of the character he plays, Troy Donahue plays himself in Godfather Part 2, I think, based on the timing. Because his real name was Merle Johnson, and Merle Johnson is the name of the character he plays in that. So,
Oh, wow.
there's a lot of other stuff about his life you can look up. He did tragically pass away on kind of the younger side. I think he lasted a lot longer than some of us expected to. He was in a ton of B movies in the 80s that some were good, some were not so good, but I will give him a lot of credit for being in the Action International Pictures film Deadly Prey, which is one of my favorite late 80s Rambo exploitation movies.
Oh, man, cool. Very cool. Very, very, very cool.
But yeah, so, okay, that moves us into, okay, first of all, what was our hello gag today? Because I can't remember if we covered that.
We did cover the hello gag. Our hello gag was, we're just as far away from being the idol of millions of American housewives.
Mm-hmm.
A couple with their fingers held a couple inches apart. So that was that's the hello gag.
Wow.
It wasn't particularly memorable, but it's cute.
It is cute. Yeah, I think it's just the whole stab thing kind of overshadows the hello gag this time around.
Yes, very much so.
But yeah.
100%.
Any other pros and cons? I feel like we ended up sort of going pretty long on the whole discussion of the episode because we got so zonked out and trailing.
We got incredibly zonked out. No, I've run out of notes. I've run out of notes.
I think I have too. I think, the only other thing to mention is it's a good episode. It's cute. This is like a good... This at least got back to... It's not season 5, but it's a solid like a season 3.
Yeah, I think so. So I guess it's ranking time.
I think it's ranking time. Solid 7.
Yeah, this is 7.9. I'm gonna put it higher. Actually, I think we can go 7.9. In that it's not super essential to me, but it's better. The season premiere. It's better than Welcome to Burbank.
Yeah.
Studio City works. It's got a lot of cute, funny stunt work in it. We get to see the star Squignowski. The girls absolutely nail Rhonda to the wall. And, it's ultimately awesome. Ultimately awesome.
Yeah. And it's, actually, okay, now that you've reminded me of these things, I will put it at a 7.5. I'll put it at 7.5. I'll give it an extra boost because, yeah, it's an episode I would happily rewatch again. It's one of those, like, if we ever do a watch along where it's all the movie set ones where it's like, about movie business and show business, I would totally happily put this on there.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It is definitely a good one.
Yeah, it's worth watching.
It is a good one. Yeah.
And you can also compare this with When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth or the Troy McClure movie. Doug McClure movie. The Land That Time Forgot.
Yeah, I was thinking about Land That Time Forgot.
I
was literally just thinking about that movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Anyway.
It is.
So, okay, so does that wraps us up for today?
It does indeed. It does indeed.
Right. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Night After Night. And here is Howard Cosell telling you that if you'd like to know more about this podcast, then you can find us on Twitter at Night After Night PC there, or at Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, Patreon, YouTube. And make sure to check the YouTube channel. We have top 5 videos. We do compilations every once in a blue moon, and we do our best to give you a good show. And we really hope that you will be there for our next podcast, which Lisa is going to tell us what's coming up.
The girls have a little bit of money problems as Shirley's found a job, but Laverne's struggling to find it, and she's not being the neatest or most conscientious of roommates. So, when Edna and Frank's grand opening is announced, Laverne agrees to help him in an act for the grand opening celebration. But unfortunately, a broken arm and Shirley's vengeance may lead to some really, 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 really violent outcomes here. This is grand opening.
Well, here's hoping you can join us for the grand opening of this podcast coming soon to your places where podcasts may be listened to. Thank you very much.
Remember, kids, Wonga Wonga. Wonga is life. Wonga is love.
All right, that's good. That's a cut. That's all right. Everybody go to lunch.